Good morning and welcome to another inspiring episode of the Good Morning Minute, where we start the day with purpose, passion, and a little bit of power. I'm your host, Angelina Mojica, and today's conversation is about our special series in partnership with the Empower Her Steps virtual conference, a movement rooted in helping women heal, rise, and walk boldly into the life God has designed for them. Our mission is simple but powerful, empowering life purpose, because we believe when a woman finds clarity in her calling, everything changes for her family, her community, and generations to come. So friends, grab your cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and get ready to be uplifted as we dive into real stories, honest lessons, and bold steps towards purpose with our guest today. And our guest is Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Angelina. It's so great to be here.
Yes, it's great to have you. I know that I was able to catch up some of your information on your bio, but our
Mhm.
listeners haven't had a chance to meet you. So why don't you take the time to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Sarah Grace, and I have been a medical intuitive for many years. And what that is basically I read people's energy. I can see where stuck energy has accumulated in their body, which often will manifest in chronic illness, um, depression, anxiety, grief, all kinds of different emotions that people experience. And I have the intuitive ability to kind of pinpoint exactly where that is and be able to help the client move that through. I've had many clients that we've had spontaneous healings instantly, where they've been at end end case scenarios. They have gone from doctor to doctor to different labs, different tests, and never had any results. But they were able to create a healing experience, which relieved so much. So I've been doing that. I've also been an intuitive mentor with people, as well as a quantum healer.
Wonderful. I'd love to get to know more about this intuitive medical practice. I love it. It's holistic and definitely out of the box for some people, but I'd like to know a little bit more. And I know that it was definitely a journey to get you to this place for sure to help others. So I would love to learn a little bit more about that as well. But before we get started, I want to start with an ice-breaking question, which is just a fun, lighthearted question. And my question to you today, Sarah, is if today had a theme song, what would it be?
A theme song. Wow. I'm gonna go with Josh Groban, You Raise Me Up, because I'm all about expansion and becoming the higher version of you.
Mm, beautiful. I like that song too. So great. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, let's jump into our conversation. And I'm just going to ask you, what was the defining moment of challenge, or maybe there was some pain behind it in your life, and how did it impact you?
Well, as many of us do, we go through painful moments in our life. And in fact, I'm sure there's many for many people. But for a defining moment for me, I would say my youngest child, when he was born, he was not a very good sleeper. He did not sleep much. He was very alert in the hospital when I had him. I had a very healthy pregnancy. He was very healthy, but he was very awake. And the nurses thought, oh, he's so alert. That's amazing. That's so cute. Well, it wasn't cute when he just never slept. His sleeps were like 10 minutes long when babies should sleep for like 3 hours so
Mhm.
at a time. So that went on for a long time, which caused a lot of sleep deprivation for mama.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a lot of help at that point. And I also had a toddler. So the sleep deprivation with his alertness and his wakefulness caught up to me. He did not sleep through the night until he was about 4.5. And at that point, my body was shutting down because you
Mhm.
cannot go that long without sleep. My hair was falling out. I felt like I just had hit a complete wall of um, extreme exhaustion, severe exhaustion. I had had my labs, like lab blood work done for my labs, and everything came out good. I was still healthy. My body was still doing what it needed to do,
Mm-hmm.
considering, and I was actually really amazed by that. I think the body forgives a lot. However, there's some essentials you cannot go without, and one of them
Mm-hmm.
is sleep. And so finally, when he finally started sleeping through the night at 4.5, I think my body just at that point crashed. And
Mm-hmm.
I know other moms who have been through similar situations like this. Um, it didn't know how to sleep at that point. It's like I said, my sleep button was broken. I
Uh-huh.
was so exhausted, but I could not fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, I never went to medication because I know that that's a very false for me. It's a false form of sleep. It did not resonate with me. I
Mm-hmm.
tried many different supplements, many different therapies. Um, but what I had realized at that point because I had gone, there was about 3 days in a row that I would go with no sleep, like 72 hours with no sleep. And then at the most, it was like 10 days without sleep. I thought I was dying, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I had discovered is there was many areas of my life that I had shut down, including my marriage. And that was a big exploration for me because knowing that emotionally I had detached from the signals, the signs
Mm-hmm.
um, that were very clear now to me when I see it, but not then. My body was sending me more signals than I was even aware of. I actually thought that it was just extreme exhaustion, but it was so much more than that. I think I was numbing a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went through this process, it was about 10 months of literally gripping onto life, trying to um, still exist as a mom of two children. And I had a husband then. Um, it was very, very, very difficult, but I'm an intuitive. And in those moments of quiet times, I was given very, very, very clear messages. One of them was, you need to leave this marriage. That was one of the biggest healing points of, I think, my life. It was not bad. It was not a
Mm-hmm.
bad relationship. He was not abusive or anything like that. But it was staying in a marriage, staying in a relationship that is not expanding you, I felt suffocated, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your body knows, your energy knows. And it
Mm-hmm.
was extremely, extremely difficult to move through.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I knew that the light was on the other side. And my
Wow.
children also needed a whole and healthy mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one huge pivotal point for my life. Prior to all of this, and this was in 2021, um, the business that I had built for 20 years with my mom, we had done very successful. We had reached a global expansion,
Mm-hmm.
didn't make it successfully through COVID. And we were hanging on to the last little bits of it as that just started kind of tumbling through. So I had the fall of my business, the fall of my health, my sleep, and the fall of my marriage, all within 1 to 2 years. And so I felt as though I was completely starting over. Um, First of all, I had to start with building me back. Who was I? Building from a physical level to an
Mm-hmm.
emotional level to the mental level to the spiritual level. And it
Yeah.
was day by day working on myself, becoming a better person, not so much a better person, but becoming more of a whole person for me,
Mm-hmm.
for my children. And then I had much more of a calling that I need to become this for everybody else because
Mm-hmm.
I had built myself back from the bottom of where I think I have ever been in my life to
Mm-hmm.
a point that I can help support and guide others through this same process. And with my intuitive abilities that I can see things that most people cannot. I've always been like that. As a
Mm-hmm.
child, I could see spirits on the other side. I could read people's minds. I thought everybody could when I was little. But I've translated that into supporting other people and helping people through their transformation as well.
Wow, and just hearing your story, there seems like it's like one thing right after another thing, right after another thing. Like, was there a moment of pause that you just kind of like were so overwhelmed that you just like had to come to yourself and kind of ground yourself in a sense before you could step into like a healing or growing moment as you started making sense of the whole thing?
Many times, I think. I think at different levels.
Uh-huh.
Um, Sometimes when we get to our bottom, and everybody's bottom is different, but
Yeah.
it's a personal bottom. It's like I've never reached this level that I don't feel I have any power within myself.
Hmm.
And you look outward when in fact the power actually is within. It's not outward.
Yeah.
It is not with the people. It's not the doctors. It's not, I mean, I'm sure there's always resources that can
Hmm.
support. But the moment I turned inward and I knew, okay, first of all, my marriage has to be done. I can't deny this. I can't ignore this.
Hmm.
When two people are not expanding and growing together, it actually feels very suffocating.
Hmm.
It's very limiting to the person who is expanding much more than the other person just wants to stay in a nice, comfy box.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think at any point it's within here.
Hmm.
It's deep within that we know. And when we question and ask, instead of question and ask the outside,
Hmm.
we go inward. That's where the answers are.
Hmm. And we do, I mean, we have a sense of compass. I often say the Lord has blessed us with all the things that we need, especially in times of adversity. That's when we discover what we're created from, right? And so going inward and just really kind of meditating on what's happening rather than just being caught up and reactive, but actually taking a moment to kind of observe the things that have gotten us to where we're at, to really make sense of it and going, okay, I see where we need to shift either mindset, whatever it is, and start putting things into practice. So like whether that's healing or developing, whatever that may be, we have to start putting things into practice so that we can grow. What were some of those things, Sarah, for you that you put into play to kind of help you moving in the direction that you wanted to go for yourself?
Almost exactly what you said there, which was right on it, is
Uh-huh.
the reactivity is when things happen in your life, we are custom programmed to react
Mhm.
emotionally. In fact, we don't even know we are, even if the reaction is avoidance
Mhm.
or freeze. Because I know a lot of women have that. It's a trauma
Yeah.
response, and we're not even aware we do it. But really coming into that place of pause and then seeing this opportunity right in front of you as this is a gift. This is an opportunity for you to expand and become more of who you are. And truly, that opens miracles. It
Mhm.
truly does when we can stop our reactive patterns and see it as an opportunity, which means you're agreeing with what the universe has brought to you, whether it's the creator or the universe or however anybody wants to bring it, say what
Mhm.
that is. Um, it's in your favor. It's
Mhm.
always working in your favor. So when you're in the depths of your pain and your struggles, this is actually bringing more light to you to elevate who you are than to say, I'm actually in the hardest place of my life. No, this is the brightest place of your life. This is where
Mhm.
your expansion becomes absolutely inevitable to take you to your next place because nobody typically stays there.
Mhm.
It's a very short, brief time. However, how we deal with it, I think really depends on then where we go and how quickly
Mhm.
we come out of it.
That right there, what you just said is so true. And it's so vital because it's like, how are you because you can manage through, right? You can manage through, but how are you dealing with it? Because we have like an auto program, we kind of autopilot life, we kind of exist when we're not being intentional or don't see a purpose behind being here on earth living. We just kind of flip, like it's just a switch that's automatically flipped, and we're just existing. We're just kind of drifting through life, and whatever it throws at us, we react to it, and then just kind of survive and move on. But we never do understand. I know for me, it took me many years to get to a point of understanding that I don't have to live that way. I can take control of my life, and I can flip the switch so that I can manually control my life and stop living in this mentality of surviving, so that I do drift into purpose, and I am living according to my own design,
Yeah.
so to speak. What was it like? So you're going through all of this. What was it like as you're starting to say, oh my gosh, there's purpose behind the circumstances that I've gone through?
There is purpose behind everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we slow down and we see, hear, and feel in to what's right in front of us, you
Mm-hmm.
will be guided without a doubt. In fact, I did more asking than ever before inward to
Mm-hmm.
the creator, to source energy, whatever that is for you. I
Mm-hmm.
asked so many questions every day. And every time I asked, I had an answer. Like instantly. And I work with the divine energy. I work with I work with this all day long. So it's so tangible, it's so accessible. And what I would say to anybody is never ever feel alone in this, because
Mm-hmm.
you have this guiding force behind you that there's it's a curated path for you. These obstacles are actually opportunities given to you, designed specifically for your greatest outcome. That's always what it is your greatest outcome. And it takes sometimes going through those to come out on the other side and be like, this created the best part of me. If I was still there back in 2019, I don't think I would actually be fulfilled. In fact, I think
Mm-hmm.
I would actually be in a very different place than where I am right now. And so it takes those big moments. And if we look at our life, growth
Mm-hmm.
comes from the painful moments. We
Mm-hmm.
never have growth from the days that are just sunshine. Those are lovely and we need those sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's where we're challenged the most that we have to dig deep inside of us and have the best parts of us come out. And sometimes we don't even know who those are. They're deep inside, they're covered up. But those challenges, they bring those out.
I like that. And in my experience, I experienced that exact same thing. It was like through the struggle, through the adversity and all the life lessons, I was able to tap into the strength that I hold, the perseverance, the understanding of I can really do all things, um, through Christ who strengthens me, but also too, like just knowing that things are just a moment in time, like this too shall pass, like, and it's so empowering to know, and just to look back 40 years ago and see where I was to where I am now. It's an evolution for sure. And so I love that you're saying that. And so let's talk about your evolution. How did your story shape who you are today?
It had me come into who I really was designed to be.
Mm,
And I think when I was not living in my most powerful version of who I was, maybe I was in a relationship that wasn't cultivating the best parts of me.
mhm,
Maybe it was minimizing me, or I was allowing it to be. Um, that's that had to end. I had to move into the greatest part of me to be able to create, because I think
mhm,
at the end of the day, all of our souls, we're here for creation. We love to create. And if we're not creating and we're not giving and we're not helping other people and being of service and truly feeling purpose driven, I think there's a sense that, and I have a lot of clients this way, that there's an emptiness.
mhm,
So when we really rise above our deepest challenges, I think so much of who we are meant to be will come to the surface
mhm,
if we allow it to be, if we see
mhm.
that possibility as an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, so true. what would you say, Sarah, if someone was kind of sitting in their in between, not
Mhm.
really, not really understanding what their next step should be? What kind of advice would you give that person?
Yeah, I have a lot of clients, right? They come to me when they're in that place.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They have I'm usually the last person they see, and it's they've gone here, they've gone there, they've got and they have not had results. And so I'm kind of the end place. And so I have a lot of clients like that. And what I truly one like if I were to say one thing is fall in love with yourself. And I know that sounds really vague and maybe mundane, and maybe you've heard that a million times. But when you're truly, truly in love with yourself, your vibration, your frequency, who you're truly meant to be becomes brighter, becomes more like it just expands, it evolves into who you're meant to be.
Mm,
And also, I really, truly believe that all of us souls on the planet, when we can come into our gifts and become the affinity of the form of the creator, is be more like the creator, then we are truly in tune with who we are, which is loving yourself, being of service to people, coming from a giving place, not being so needy, be seeing yourself as whole and complete, because we are. We're whole and complete, and we're constantly evolving. But if
mhm,
we don't see that, then I think we're in comparison mode. We're comparing ourselves to, this person, or how successful or how beautiful or whatever it is to other people. When we turn inward and we truly see the miracle that we are, um, your light completely changes.
mm.
Completely, completely changes.
That's true. That's so true. What does living with purpose look like for you now?
I don't question why I'm here. I don't question waking up in the morning. I don't think of what I do as work. It truly comes from within. And there's like this excitement that as I work with clients, as I help transform people into their greatest version of who they are,
Mhm.
there's an energy aspect that you could do that all day long and never get tired. It literally fills you up.
Mm. And when you say I don't question why I'm here, like that hits me in the core because I remember at one point being so young, 18 and getting ready to graduate, struggling with why am I here? And
Yeah.
then that leading into, some very toxic thinking and suicidal ideations. And I can see where people can struggle with that. Why am I here? Because they lack that sense of understanding why they were created and the power that they harness, the God gift that we all have within ourselves to be the light in other people's darknesses. And you mentioned that we are here to help each other. We are here to create. We are here to grow. And society has lost that element of understanding, and especially when it comes to self. But I like that you also mentioned self-love because it is so freeing, and when you can understand how to love yourself unconditionally. I had another guest talk about unconditional love on the show, but when you can learn to love yourself unconditionally, you unlock so much joy and happiness for yourself as well, and then you can give on to others as well
Mhm.
because you understand it for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah, wonderful. Um, so Sarah, as we start kind of rounding out our conversation and kind of coming to closure, I want to ask you a question of legacy and impact. If today were your last day, what would you want to be remembered for?
Mm. Transformation.
Mm,
Yeah. Anywhere I go, I hope to raise the energy, the light, the hope, the certainty within the room, the place that I'm in.
mm,
Mhm. And I don't take anything for it. I don't want And I'm very aware of this, is for a lot of people, as they go into a room or into a space, they look at, what can I take? I don't want that. I just come into any space and it's, what can I give? Truly.
Mhm. That's beautiful. And it also just kind of reminds me how people will forget what you say or forget what you do, but they'll
Mhm.
never forget how you made them feel. So
Exactly.
to be that presence and oh, so overwhelming in how you make someone feel that you have the legacy live far beyond yourself. My last question to you, Sarah, is if you could or if you could leave just one bit of truth or encouragement with someone listening today who is still trying to figure out what their purpose is, what would that be?
There's no urgency to know today. Just be still with yourself and be easy with yourself. I think the biggest thing is we're constantly searching outside, and the answers are all within. They're all within. So don't look outside for your purpose. Don't try a million things to think that you need to be busy or you need to be productive. Go with it. Take some time, drop all the things that are not working in your life. And that could mean certain relationships, that could mean certain habits, reactive patterns, maybe a job that is draining the heck out of your energy and you know it,
Mhm.
drop it. Because if we're attached to the heaviness in our life, we cannot fly.
Mhm.
Weight, I always say, weight equals weight. WEIGHT, the weight that we carry around, the energetic weight, the weight from other people
Mhm.
equals WAIT, weight. You're going to wait longer. So
Yes.
free yourself of all the things holding you back and go within. Ask yourself the big questions, the important questions of, who am I and what truly makes me most happy and joyful, and you'll find it. And don't be so rushed to do it to find it today. Let it sit and percolate. Because
Mhm.
when you have an intention that I truly am ready to find that purpose that that just inspires me every day, that excites me to continue doing it, it's already a part of you. You're just
Mhm.
clouded by the things around you. And that's why I say drop all the things that are weighing you down, and you will have so much clarity on moving forward.
Mm. I love that. And it's good advice. So anyone out there listening, do take that to heart because that's really good advice and words of encouragement. Sarah, if someone wanted to work with you or get in contact with you outside of this podcast, how could they do so?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to my website. It's healwithsarah.com. Or you could find me on Instagram. It's medical under slash intuitive under slash Sarah. So medical intuitive Sarah with underscores.
Okay. And if you missed it, that's okay because we'll have it posted on the social media pages for sure as we listen to the podcast and it's released. So you can catch it. You can catch it there too, listeners as well. Sarah, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story and your light with us today. It's conversations like this that remind us purpose isn't about perfection, it's about showing up and growing through the things that we go through because every step does matter. Here at the Good Morning Minute and through the Empower Her Steps movement, we believe every woman has a calling worth discovering and a voice worth using. So wherever you are today, friend, remember your purpose is powerful and you're not walking alone. Until next time, keep rising, keep trusting, and keep walking boldly into the life God has designed for you. I'm Angelina Mojica, your life coach, sending you much love, much peace, many blessings.